Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, so wait a couple moments. I had a couple things on my mind that I wanted to talk about, especially before getting into tomorrow's live. A couple things to consider, a couple things to think about. So, so it's kind of a mini preview. It's a little bit of a preview until tomorrow, right? Or for tomorrow, I guess I should say. Because tomorrow, answering the questions of first, how did it happen, right? People have been like, so you're a math and an SEL specialist? Yes, both can coexist for sure. And so, kind of how that happened. And it's really not as complicated as you would think, but definitely answering those questions as to why it happened and how it happened. So, today is kind of a preview, just a little bit. So, speaking of the math and SEL working together, there's definitely, we've been having some information, we've been releasing some posts about our upcoming webinar called Beyond the Jargon, right? Supporting English language learners, ELLs in math class. So Beyond the Jargon is on March 26th, so it's coming up in a couple of weeks. It's at 3, I was going to say CST, but we sprung forward now, right? So it's 3 p.m. CDT, wherever we are now. But I really wanted to stop and take a moment for to encourage people to register. I have some registrations already. We're super excited about that. But I know sometimes, right, we have to fight the feeling. A lot of times we like to wait until the last moment before registering for something, and if you wait till the last minute, you're going to miss a time frame, you're going to miss out on some good things, because we have some bonuses that are happening for people that make sure that they register by the 20th, right? Again, so Beyond the Jargon BTJ isn't until the 26th, but if you make sure that you register by the 20th, we have a few bonuses, a few things we're going to sprinkle in extra for you, and they're really good, right? So I'm just saying. So again, this is kind of a preview for tomorrow, but we're digging deeper tomorrow into math and SEL. But today, just a couple of things. Again, a couple of things are on my mind to discuss. So I've always kind of shook my head a bit and really don't understand. I'm gonna say it, when systems try to separate the SEL, social emotional learning, or if you prefer SEI, social emotional intelligence. I really don't understand when systems and structures try to separate that from the rest of the education, or in the more general sense, from the rest of the culture. I never understood. Okay. So, with that in mind, I like to think in terms of analogies, right? That's one of my reflection pieces. We're going to talk a lot about reflecting in a different space and ways that we can have people, whether it's younger people or not so young people, reflect. But I think a lot in terms of analogies. So, for this analogy, when people try to separate the two, they try to separate the social emotional intelligence from the rest of education, from the rest of the organizational culture. To me, it feels like if I were to say, oh no, I'm only a mom or a wife when I'm at home, or if I were in other spaces saying, oh no, I'm only a businesswoman when I'm at the conference. I'm at this conference, so I'm a businesswoman here. Or I'm only your friend when I'm at my friends' houses or in their spaces with them. Now, we can kind of see how that might cause some complications really easily, right? So, if it makes sense for us to still be our multidimensional selves, regardless of where we are, because all of that builds who we are, then we really need to treat the social emotional part of ourselves that way, whether we're at school, at work, or at home. It's really no separating it, right? So, again, because if we try to, it's going to cause some complications. Like, no, I'm not your friend because I'm at work. No, I'm not a wife today because I'm right. I mean, that would be really, again, complicated, I'll say, cause some complications. So to me, it's the same thing. It's very parallel, right? It's equally ridiculous, definitely. Attempting to separate the social development aspect from the other pieces of life, equally ridiculous. So they do overlap. They do overlap, they definitely coexist, and they often add to each other, and they cause some opportunities for leverage as well, between all these different intersections of life. So again, can somebody tell me and help me understand, why are we separating these? Why are we separating these things, or trying to? It's madness. It's madness, I tell you. So y'all have heard me say before, if you've been listening, you've heard me say see, study, and support those in our spaces. So math class is no different, home is no different, work is no different. But we're talking about, again, it's the preview to why math and SEL. Math class is where it all started, or in an official way, in an official educational space, right? And so in that Beyond the Jargon, our BTJ webinar, we're providing some immediately actionable things, and definitely relevant strategies as well. So you're getting actionable, immediately actionable. I'm going to say that again, immediately actionable strategies that are relevant for math class. Okay. And it's timely. The timing is what it is, because at this point, we're aware that most states are somewhere between 20 to 25 instructional days out from their state test. Yep, I'm gonna say that again, and I want to be clear that we have to differentiate the instructional days, because it's testing season in general, and that means a lot. A lot of things come with that. So depending on some days being used and blocked out for maybe your end of the year benchmarks, maybe you're in a campus, a district where you all do map testing, so it's almost time for end of the year map tests. We have telepods in Texas. So that's an assessment that is unique to English language learners, but it's also usually comes about the same time as the state test here. So again, being mindful of these different days that you might be looking, right? Just the traditional regular school calendar for most people, 5 days. Okay, I have this many weeks, so I have 35 days. Right? Because of those other days for a lot of end of the year testing. So it's called testing season for multiple reasons at this point. So again, being mindful, being careful about, again, those 20 to 25 instructional days left, because again, instructional days are super different, keeping in mind the end of the year benchmarks, end of the year, maybe map tests. Again, I'm based in Texas, so I'll talk about the telepass, that assessment, but again, assessments that are unique to English language learners and maybe some other subpopulations as well, right? So the more prepared you are, because first of all, I most definitely don't want any of these possible other assessments to sneak up on you because you had an inaccurate countdown, right? So the more prepared you are and the more aware you are, that translates to the young people, versus you being blindsided because you forgot that y'all had the such and such test and then the district this, right? If you're blindsided, what tends to happen is that people will operate in anxiety and stress, and they'll give that directly to the young people, whether or not they realize it. They'll give it to the young people. So we don't want to do that, right? So we want to make sure that, yes, we're looking and accounting for instructional days. So that was just on my mind to say today, because for some people, it might be more like you may be losing, quote unquote, 7 days of instruction for these different state tests and district requirements and things. So just something to be aware of. It was on my mind to say today. I wasn't going to wait till just the 26th to say that, right? Because that's that much more time that has passed. So just a little something for today. That's enough for today, but please do tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. CDT, right? Again, since we sprung forward, we're on the daylight savings time. And also, I hope I got it right this time. We're having that full conversation, though, for math and SEL. But before you go today, if you have not, again, y'all know that we strive to add value, so you don't want to miss out by registering for BTJ, Beyond the Jargon, after the 20th. Yes, it's not taking place until March 26th at 3, but you don't want to miss out on these bonus things, I'll say, by registering after the 20th. Okay. Just wanted to drop a couple things, couple nuggets. Thank y'all for listening. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.